You hear it? You hear it? That's the intro right there because you know what? In a handful of weeks, we've got that college football, then we got that high school football, then we got that pro, but it's not there yet. So this is a way to get ready for the Red Zone Show. Josh Tobat, proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland ISD, Garland, USA, Texas. Ready to rock and roll and learn from. Look at all these guys right here. All of these guys all around my screen bringing a reflection on 22-23, and it's all about learning from the past so that we prepare for the future, getting all the little nuggets and tidbits together. So it doesn't matter where you're at. We need you, Iowa. We need you, North Dakota. We need you, Idaho. So if you are in Alaska or Hawaii, whether you are in Maine or in Florida or anywhere in the 48, you're part of this learning process. What do you think about that, Dean Packard in Massachusetts?
I think you've been practicing all day long, man. You just nailed that flawlessly. And each week you get a little bit better. Hey, everybody, my name is Dean Packard, one of the co-founders of Unlock the Middle. And Thursday nights, as I always say, is a night where we just meet new people in the business that are just out there, just killing it and crushing it and trying to make a name for themselves and help other people along the way. So it's really good stuff, man. And we're super excited to have all of you on the call tonight. And I'll tell you what, let's go right into this. Go around the room. Before I hit my first question, just your name and where you are working right now. Let's go with Brandy first. Go for it, Brandy.
Hi, I'm Brandy Neal. I'm an educational consultant and child advocate out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Outstanding. Welcome to the show. Kashanta, you're up.
Hi, my name is Kashanta Thurman, and I am in Odessa, Texas. I am a professional development consultant that works with secretaries.
Ooh, all right. There's a brand we haven't had on yet, Josh. The secretaries. That's something we got to think about right there. Well, welcome to the show. Glad you're with us tonight. Lee, you're up.
Lee Myers, newly started Director of Curriculum and Instruction out of Natalia ISD, a little bit south of San Antonio, Texas.
Outstanding. Welcome to the show. Hey, listen, I'm going to dovetail right into the second part of this right now. Your origin story, the background in education, what you taught as a teacher, and the different roles you had leading up to the current role that you're in right now. Let's go with you first, Lee. Break it down.
Oh, okay. So my first kind of step into the pool of education, I was a long-term special ed teacher, substitute. Then I was a long-term PE substitute and felt like I liked it enough. So I got fully certified, became a special education fully certified inclusion teacher at elementary. Then stepped into a PE position for 4 years doing that, again at elementary. In the middle of me doing that PE job, got the itch a little bit to do administration, so I went and got certified, got the master's degree for that, and then rolled into elementary assistant principal, then middle school assistant principal. And by that time, I kind of got the itch to go back and get my doctorate and kind of see where we were at as far as everything goes in high school. So I stepped into high school and went high school AP, high school principal. And now I kind of want to see it from a little more of a global lens. So at the central office level, so that's where I'm stepping into.
What a great story, man. And what a lot of pieces of the puzzle that you put together for yourself to make you marketable and somebody who's really looking there to make more of a global difference. So great stuff right there, Lee. Thank you for sharing that. Kashanta, you're up.
Well, hello again. Actually, I didn't start in education. I started as a receptionist for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice about 20 years ago. And then I met my husband, who is a high school football coach here in West Texas. And we all know about West Texas football, right? He actually, was coached at Friday Night Lights, Permian High School. And so married into it. And now I've been doing that. I've been in education since 2005. I am now administrative assistant for the chief of schools here in ECISD in Odessa, Texas. So I've been doing this since 2005, and I love everything about being an administrative assistant in this education. It has taught me so much. That's why I'm now able to go around to different school districts and help coach other secretaries, letting them know their importance, the job and the position that they hold, the help that they provide for all of our school districts.
Secretarial engineers, the face of the organization, the first people that everybody see, man, coaching them up. I love that because you know what? Josh, I've never heard of that from a coaching standpoint for secretaries. And why not? Think about it for a second. Why not? I love it. Am I missing something? I mean, that's great. Good stuff. Congratulations with all that. Brandy, you're up.
All right. I've been in education for 15 years. I started as a classroom teacher in New Jersey. Most of my career has been in middle school and high school. I did do 1 year of preschool. That was a terrible idea. There's a special place in heaven for preschool teachers. And then I was a behavior unit teacher. So my job was to help the students whose behavior hindered them from classroom performance. They came to me, and my goal was to get them back into general education. After that, I jumped ship and actually went to a private school for a couple of years where I was the dean, and then I was the principal of a middle school and high school for a school for students with learning differences, so ADHD, high functioning autism, dyslexia, dyscalculia, all of those fun acronyms. And then just now, I am actually starting my own business with my good friend, Empath Behavioral Consulting, where we work on behaviors, and my job is educational consultant and child advocate. So I actually go into schools and help the schools and help the teachers be better teachers.
One of the things I admire about people when they are not afraid to step out of their comfort zone and do something totally not even regular for the mindset of what they prepared to do. So again, when you take on those challenges, big risks, big rewards, and I'll tell you what, impact on student development is really huge. So good stuff right there as well. JT, you're up.
So talking about making an impact, like Dean just said right now. Oh, and Dean, by the way, you're still the more seasoned veteran here in this whole group, all right?
I'm 45. What are you?
Well, not as old as that. Oh, but
come on, man, you're killing me right now. You're killing me.
So making an impact. Hey, Lee, who made that impact for you, sir, in regards to becoming an educator? And part two of this is, who currently makes that impact to motivate you, put that drive, esas ganas, to keep on pushing ahead?
Shoot, I would say honestly, it was my high school principal. He, the moment I stepped foot on campus, like as a freshman, and I went to it wasn't a huge high school, but there was probably maybe 1,200 kids total. And stepping foot as a small freshman, I was teeny tiny, maybe 4'4", and so I was nothing. And it was just a crazy experience for me because I was probably there for about a week, walking around with my big backpack compared to me. And he walked by, and shirt, tie, jacket, everything. And he walked by and he's like, "Hey Lee, how's it going?" And I shook his hand and I was like, "Yeah, yes sir." And it was just crazy, like seeing him interact with everybody. He seemed to, from my perspective, and he may not have, but from my perspective, it seemed like he knew everybody's name. And it was just interesting that he took so much interest in everybody and just talked to him. And he knew what I did. Like he knew I would play football and played soccer, and he knew everything about me. And so it was kind of one of those things. When I went to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But then I went back home to visit one time, and I was like, you know what? Unfortunately, he got sick with a brain tumor and passed away probably about 7 or 8 years after I graduated. But it was kind of one of those things that kind of clicked about that same time. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to go back and be somebody like him that makes people who feel like they weren't important, weren't noticed. And actually, that probably kind of engaged me more in actually wanting to do good in school, because I was like, hey, this guy, he keeps an eye on me. And in the second part, probably my wife. My wife, she's an educator too. She's way better than I ever will be. And kind of just making sure I don't disappoint her is probably what keeps me going, honestly, right now.
You the man, Lee. I love that answer right there. Kashanta, talk to us.
Yes. Well, actually, I'm saying my husband introduced me to the world of education, and just seeing his passion for it. I mean, when it came to these kids, when it came to his football players, I knew my place, right? I knew the position that I held. The kids are his heart still. And so now I've just been blessed to have some great leaders in my path. Everyone in charge is not a leader. And I've had some amazing leaders that, as a secretary, as an administrative assistant, they've empowered me. They valued me. They've grown me, which has allowed me to learn and grow, and given me the passion to want to share that with others. And so that's why I'm able to, my business is brand new. It's a year. We had our 1-year anniversary in April, and I've been able to go to a few districts. I just got back from San Antonio today, actually. training other secretaries and actually working with other administrators and secretaries on how to work together. So it was my husband who introduced me, and then it was the great leaders that I had that empowered me. So just showing value and empowering and growing from the leadership that I've been with.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. That was beautiful. Brandy, talk to us.
All right. I had a couple of great teachers. So I am severely ADHD, severely dyslexic, did not have good schooling. And so until my middle school, high school, I had two teachers that really saw me for me, not just my disability, not just my hyperness, and made me realize that I can achieve what I wanted to achieve, which is graduating high school, just getting me out of high school. And then being able to go to college, and now I have my master's and I'm almost done with my doctorate. And so they really inspired me, and they actually saw me as a person. And so I got into education because I never wanted a kid to feel how I felt in the classroom. So that's what really empowered me to go in and make a difference and start in special education for those kids that I call the gray area kids. Those, I started with those kids that nobody really wants and nobody really sees. And what keeps me going is building up other teachers. I've had multiple teachers that have gone through my school that have now gone on to be administrators, to be IT directors, to be, athletic directors, and watching them move on and go on to bigger and better things, and watching some of the teachers when I'm like, hey, why don't we tweak just this? Or have you thought about this? And then seeing the aha moment of educators is awesome. Everybody talks about the aha moment for kids, but that aha moment for educators when they try something new and it works, or they fail and then they try something else and that works.
Well, that aha moment is huge, and we all have it in education, and there's no doubt about that. I want to quickly talk about, you said that hyperactivity, that exuberant energy, and how kids get labeled with that. And look at what you're doing right now.
I'm already fidgeting. I know.
I haven't met a kid yet who isn't riddled with some sort of ADD or ADHD. It's just the way that it is. It didn't really exist 25 years ago. They were just kids just releasing their energy. However, I'm very proud of you guys, and that's a really good stuff right there. Let's talk about the next question that we have right now. Your planning process for 2023-24. And before we go there, let's go back to 22-23 and just kind of look back and say, how was your year? I mean, were you happy with your year? And as you finished off this past year and you start thinking about 23-24, what are the biggest changes that you're seeing, not only in yourself personally, but maybe professionally as well? So why don't we start that off with Lee?
22-23, we started off celebrating a little bit because for the 21-22 school year, we actually hit the highest scores that the campus had gotten in over 7 years. So we were excited about that. But I want to win in any situation, and so I put out the message saying, "Hey, we got an 87. Celebrate that." Kind of rubbed it and said, "Hey, some of the other neighbors districts, you didn't quite where we're at, so you got to raise your game a little bit." But telling everybody, "Hey," so we packaged that up, we put it aside because now that we're here, we got to go even better. And so it was really looking at how we can improve, because we weren't 100% successful. Not everybody hit where we wanted is, because if we had 100% passing and star and everything and masters, then we would make the national news, I'm sure, because they would look at this campus, got 100% of their kids at 100% on grade level. So that's always the goal, just to push it there. And so it was just trying to be as strategic as possible with what we had coming into us and learning where we made mistakes and shortcomings, and kind of where we thought, hey, let's give this a shot. And we didn't quite hit where we wanted, and so seeing where we had to adjust. The most fun, probably, honestly, and I mean, you see it in the news everywhere, is there's not as many teachers out there as you'd like. So it was definitely like trying to get people to come to Natalia with me for the kids. And then for this coming year, I mean, we shall see. Just learning from the last 2 years.
Well, I'm still caught up with. I want to win, and I'll tell you, anybody who sits in the seat, whether you're a curriculum coordinator, whether you're a principal, it doesn't matter. We all want to win. But then we start looking at that data analysis. That data analysis will tell us where we have to begin to redefine or adjust practices to help kids become successful. And any good organization has that in there. And I love that. I want to win. I'm going to go into my new school saying, I want to win, guys. But in order to win, we also have to be having systems on the same page. So really good there. One question for you, Lee, that I want to ask you. What was one or two data points that really stuck with you between 22, 23, and 23, 24, where you said to yourself, you had that epiphany. If we change this, we're going to rock it.
It's just more individualized. I tell everybody we need to focus on the individual goals for each kid. So, like, for instance, let's say Lee has a 75, and that's where I was performing last year. I know we need to get. If I got a 75 again this year, it's technically 1 year's growth, but I want to hit past the 75. So I want to go to 80 or whatever it is. To move, not just. I don't want to just add 1 year's worth of value. I want to add a little bit more. And so, really looking honestly for us, we have a high turnover rate in our math department. And so it's really looking at trying to find somebody that wants to come in that's effective as well, because it's one of those things that, granted, in Texas, we only take the one end of course test in Algebra 1, but most kids take it early on in their high school career. So they still have 3 years of math to go. And then depending upon where they want to go at that, in college or trade school or something like that, or straight to workforce, they probably need to use some math at some point too. And so I want to make sure that we set them up for success, not just sitting in the seat at my high school, wherever they go afterwards too. So it's really looking at
great. Yeah. That's really good stuff. And you pinpoint that and you quantify that data and those points, and then just drive it through with those goals. Great stuff will happen there too. So way to go with that. Kashanta. Again, I don't know if you heard what we said. I know you went in and out, and I apologize. This is reflecting back on 22, 23, some of the highlights that were really good for what you were doing. And then looking at 23, 24, and what do you see as the adjustment, either personally or professionally, to build your own capacity, let's say, okay?
So actually, in my seat, working with the secretaries, with the administrative assistants here in our district, something that our district has done this year, they have brought in an outside consulting agency to help the secretaries with the customer service, the professional development part, because so oftentimes our administrative assistants, they are our foundation, they are our front line, but we're invisible. No one really pays attention to that front line until something happens, until something falls through the crack, until they get an upset parent that wants to complain, right? And so if we bring the attention to the front line before that happens, if we give them the proper training, oftentimes districts, organizations, they mentor and they consult and they bring in specialists to train their leaders, to train their teachers, to train their principals. Even their, first year superintendent gets a mentor, but who pays attention to your support staff? Who's investing in your support staff? Which is your foundation. So this year, being on the inside, I've decided to kind of take that on my own. And I am currently working with 3 school districts here in Texas, as well as a school district in Ohio that I've started working with. And hopefully moving forward, I will be able to pick up more school districts to just shine a light on our support staff, because they need to know that we see them. They need to know that we appreciate them, that we value them, because we need them. And I think if we invest in them, the way that we invest in every other department, I know the kids matter. I have a 15-year-old, he's going to the 10th grade. The kids matter, the principals matter, the teachers matter, but so do our support staff. So I think we need to be aware and love on them a little bit more. So that's what I'm looking for and praying towards more in the future, that we shine a brighter light on the whole team. My husband is a football coach, and I always say you have to be able to see the whole field. So shining a light on the whole team, not just our instructional staff, not just our leaders, but on the foundation as well.
You're only as good as your weakest link. And I'll tell you what, if you don't think of a 75-member football team that number 75 is just as important as the number 1, then you're in trouble. Glad you said that. And I'll tell you, my mind is spinning right now for PD. For my secretary is going to my new school. So love that. Thank you so much. Brandy.
Yes. 22-23 was an awesome year. Being in a private school this past year, it was amazing to see the difference. There's challenges just like public school, though. So don't let, that fool you. Our testing data looked really, really great. Our math department was solid this year, Lee. As you were talking about math, that's usually a strong point, like a hidden point. So that year was awesome, but I saw a gap, and that's why I'm starting my own thing, because there's a gap in Northeast Florida and education in general. And my passion is really making education fun again. So, everybody talks about testing and data and awesome. But you can do that, and you can look at the data, and you can still have fun with the kids and still achieve goals, which is what we did this year. So taking what I learned and applying it and teaching other people how to still have fun in the classroom while learning and getting better test results at the end of the year. So we're really looking to do that this upcoming year and really spread the word on how to do that, because teachers are like, oh yeah, that sounds great. I don't have time to do that. Yes, you do, if you do it correctly, because you can test prep, hit all your benchmarks, hit all the standards, and have a dance party. You can do both. I'm telling you, you can do all of it. You just have to take time, and you have to learn how to do it correctly. And that's really where my passion is this year, is spreading the word that education should be fun and can be fun, and you can still meet all your benchmarks.
Can you say growth mindset?
A little bit.
What do you think of that, JT?
I think that's part of becoming an effective leader, is having that growth mindset, always learning from the negative defeat setback, but also open-minded to other people's opinion, not being married to your opinion.
Good.
And so, Brandy, speaking of that growth mindset and leadership, what do you look for in someone who leads others? What are some qualities of a leader?
Empathy and ethics. Those are the two things that you need. Empathy for everybody, your students, your support staff, your other administrators, your teachers, your parents. You need to have empathy, and you need to have high ethics, especially in today's cuckoo world and technology and all of the cool things, and not getting caught up and going astray, and really just sticking to who you are as a core person and your ethics and your values. And that's really it. Those two things.
Give me a little bit more. Why?
Ooh, why? Because we are losing educators. I read a study yesterday where by 2027, 44% of teachers are going to leave the profession. That's a problem. We need to fix that. And everybody says, oh, just throw more money at them. Just throw more money at them. That's not the only answer. That's not going to work. So we really need to be empathetic towards our teachers and see what's happening. Be empathetic towards everybody, the janitor in the building, because guess what? If it wasn't for them, you're not having a building. You're not coming to work every day. So you have to be empathetic towards what's going on with them as well. And you have to have your own set of ethics. And with that, you have to build your team and build yourself up, or else our education system is going to fail by 2030.
Thank you for sharing that, Brandy. Kashanta, leader, what does it look like? Why?
Respect. Respect is a big thing for me, especially being in my position. Like I said, there are often times that not me, my department is amazing, but there are so many of my counterparts who are disrespected, who are dismissed, who are treated as personal assistants, right? Instead of being an equal professional. We are equal professionals. And so I think respect is a major part in our field that is often overlooked. We're undervalued. And so I think that we need to be valued. A leader, again, sees the whole field and understands the value of each player in each position. Just like Brandy said, from the janitor to the person that cleans our parking lots, right? To the person that cuts our grass. I mean, how many times have you pulled up and the trees are hitting your car as you're trying to go through the parking lot? Everybody matters. And so we need to be able to see everybody in our building and respect that individual in that position. And a leader is someone that sees that, acknowledges that, and stands for that, that makes sure that everyone is shown the respect and that everyone has a voice and a name. We need to understand that these are people, these are individuals, and we all have names. No one should be invisible.
Love it. No one should be invisible. So true. Lee, talk to us. Leadership. Why?
I think they took my answer, so I'm good. No,
It's tough going at a third on this one.
No, sir.
No, empathy, definitely empathy, because you have to show people you care. Like you're there especially like as a principal of a campus or somebody that's a leader in any sort of school setting. Like you're the steward of everything. So you are the one that's responsible for everybody. You want to make sure that everybody's taken care of as much as you can. You have to be understanding. You have to be empathetic, because if they have an emergency that arises, it's not like they planned for that emergency to pop up. And if you sit there and say, okay, well, what you can take your half day and do X, Y, and Z and all this other stuff, and make sure you put all these things in place before you leave, because otherwise you're messing with us. It speaks volumes about you, and it also speaks volumes to everybody else, saying, well, he or she doesn't really care about them as a person, just an employee. They're just a body that's filling a role. And if you treat people like that, then you're going to have to find another body to fill that role, because they'll go somewhere else where they feel valued. Like Ms. Thurman was saying, secretaries to me are the frontline defense. The high school I worked at for the last 3 years, our secretary is amazing. Like she doesn't just take a phone call and say, okay, let me pass you on. Like she's finding out the name, what's going on. She almost solves all the problems and basically just kind of hands me the information and says, hey, this is what's going on, and I'm going to give you the background on the reason why X, Y, and Z is happening. So she's amazing. I always try to make sure that I say hi to everybody, no matter what, see what's going on. Not just a simple hi, morning kind of thing as you're walking by, but hey, what's going on? Smile, it's Monday. Smile, it's Wednesday. How's it going? Hey, even something small is like, hey, the weather's kind of crazy, right? The respect thing is a big thing for me, but also making sure the big thing I like to see from a leader is them being proactive and accepting the accountability and responsibility for things. Because if they simply come with issues and say, hey, solve it, I'll fix the problem, but don't come at me and be upset if I fix it the way I think it needs to be fixed. Like I want you to be able to be at least available for me to bounce ideas off. As a leader, I'm the one that's there for teachers and staff. If they have a problem and they don't have a solution, I'll help them try to find one, but I don't want to give them one. I want them to take some ownership on that. And so accountability and responsibility and understanding, like being proactive, are big things for me too.
Another great closing point right there. And I love that you all had your own lens on what that looked like too, because it is a little bit different for everybody. But when you sit in that chair, every eye is on you to ensure that there is complete equity and access to you, number one, but more importantly, that you do connect with everybody, because that's probably the biggest thing. We talk about relationships all the time and how important that is. Lee, I'm going to set you up for success with this one right here. Conferences and podcasts, you're going first, okay? Why are they so important, and how do you view them in your own trajectory of growth for you personally and professionally?
Conferences and podcasts?
Yeah, talk about the value that they bring to a teacher, an administrator. You know what? Since COVID, podcasts, there are just thousands of them out there. You can turn one on anytime you want. That's a game changer as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's how we started Unlock the Middle. But, conferences too, I mean, they're a staple. So from your perspective and your lens, between the two of them, what does it look like and how it helps build you in your capacity?
I think that it's great, especially like you said with COVID. COVID kind of thrust us into this full-on technology everywhere thing, which sometimes can be good, sometimes can be bad. But most of the time, it's good because you can, if you're looking for an answer, you can find it, and if you're looking for a different point of view, you can find it. Going to conferences, you get to connect with people that you normally wouldn't connect with, because you're not. You can find people online, but you don't necessarily get to have a conversation with them the way that you normally would. And then same thing with podcasts. People can open up more when they have more time, and they have that not unfiltered necessarily, but just that unchecked amount of time. Because too often, like especially in the school setting, you show up and it's go, and then the day's over. And so you don't necessarily, there's not a whole lot of time, even when you have set time for meetings, there's not necessarily always you have a block time for like an hour for a meeting. A lot of times you're sitting there, okay, after this meeting, I've got this. After this meeting, this is going to happen. And then I got this duty and this duty. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow there's this game duty in X, Y, and Z. And I got this other meeting I know that's coming up. But when you're there at a conference or you're listening to a podcast, oftentimes that's your main source of focus. You may be thinking, oh yeah, I've got all this other stuff, but being present in the moment at a conference it's easier to be present in the moment when you're at a conference sitting there, or just, I mean, a lot of times with podcasts, I'm listening when I'm driving. So, it's the open road or traffic, whatever I'm stuck in. But you can have more time to authentically engage in that information, which is real valuable.
Great points right there. Josh Tovar listens at 3:30 in the morning when he goes to the gym. So, hey, whatever it takes to get it soaking between those two ears. I love it. Kashanta.
Well, I think, of course, they're essential, right? Especially in the world that we live in today. It puts us in front of a different audience. It opens it up. It puts you in front of some people that you may or may not ever meet when you're on a podcast, right? So you get this information, just like you said, while I'm driving, while I'm on this long commute, I'm still able to study. I'm still able to ingest things that I would not be able to if I didn't have the podcast. And as far as conferences goes, well, it opens it up to teach me something for someone that I may not have ever even known existed, because they're bringing in all of these different people from all of these different places that I may not have, that I wouldn't have access to if it were not for the conference. So conferences and podcasts are absolutely an essential part of our new world, our technology world. And for me, I mean, it puts me in front of a different clientele. I mean, it brought me to you beautiful people, right? So this is only my third podcast ever in my whole, little 14-month career here. So I appreciate this new avenue. I was talking to Mr. Tover there, and I was like, I'm new to social media only because of this job that I've introduced myself to this world. So I'm like a kid in the candy store. I say, bring it on. It's exciting, and I'm excited to see what this world of podcasts can do for me.
Kashanta, you're killing it. That's all I'm going to say right now. You're just radiant and just nailing it. I love it. Brandy, you're up.
I mean, she said it. Podcasts have opened up a whole new world to educators, to leaders, to students, to everything. And the amount of information that's out there, it's just at your fingertips. And I'm telling you, the best place to do it is in that commute. And it's the quiet time and there's nobody around and you can just listen and just absorb it and then apply it. And they've been a game changer. I've learned so much through listening to different podcasts. Conferences, you meet people that you would never get to meet. You make that networking and that connection. You pass that business card to somebody, they give you theirs. And in 2 weeks, you're like, wait a second. I met Lee at that conference and he said this. Let me email him real quick and I forgot exactly what he said. I have people that I spoke at a conference 2 years ago that are still reaching out to me saying, hey, can you send me those slides again? Because they were really awesome on XYZ. And I'm like, absolutely. How are you doing? What's going on? And it helps bridge that gap, because you can talk on the phone, you can text, you can email all day long, but that face-to-face connection, especially for educators, is so important. So, and it just makes us that lifelong leader and that lifelong learner. And if you're not learning, then you need to get out of education.
Oh, drop the mic. By God. Yes. Yes. Show's over.
Is there real quick, guys, before I ask you my question, Brandy, is there any specific conference that you would like to promote that you've attended that is awesome?
Oh God. So there's actually one in Texas coming up, the Transition Conference. It's in Dallas. There's that one. And then there's one in Reno as well in October, that if you are in the world of special education, you need to be at these conferences because they are awesome. Learning in the Brain puts on great ones as well. So if you're ever in New York and you can go to a Learning in the Brain, you want to talk about the science of learning, mind blown. Like mind blown.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. Kashanta?
I actually just participated, and this was my first year participating in a professional women's relaxation conference. I know that we often, everybody wants to, train, teach. But this conference was based on taking care of yourself, right? And so we did mindfulness, we did mindset, we did yoga, we did massages. So, and I want to put it out there that in all of our learning and growing and I got to learn more, I got to get better. We've got to take the time to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of everyone that's counting on us. So I just want to put that out there, that take the time to love on yourself, because you got people counting on you. So a relaxation conference.
Beautiful. Lee.
I kind of want to look up and see if they have a professional men's one like that. That sounds really good.
I was like, hey, Kashante, can you text that to me after the show?
We're sending Tova there too. So, all right.
No, just in Texas, they have the TASA Midwinter, and Midwinter is usually pretty good. Because there's one thing I like too is they've developed an app, and they've kind of gotten better to where you can actually take all the presentations if they have any sort of PowerPoints, so you can download them through the app, and so I'll pull all their information from there. But Midwinter is pretty good here in Texas as far as just kind of getting a variety of different topics because they have more sessions than you can actually physically go to. But it's nice with that app, especially because you can take all that information from there.
And I just presented at TSSP last week, and the only thing that I could say out there to everybody is this. Look, when you go to those conferences, don't be like your kids are. Don't sit in the back of the room. Don't take out your cell phone, and don't ignore the speaker. It's hard for us to stand up there. So you know what you expect from your kids when you come back the first day of school, and you're like, hey, guys, let's get together. And they don't want to play. As administrators, we're about to hold our PD week, and we want the team members to participate. Let's all work together, because then you make those connections. Like Brandy said, hey, Brownsville, I heard that you needed this kind of director. Hey, Iowa, you see, that's where you make those professional connections. So based on that comment right there, Kashanta, in closing, what kind of advice would you like to give our audience for the 23-24 school year?
I want to say, pay attention to the whole team. Every person in your building is a person. They have a name, and they hold an essential position. Every person. Pay attention to everybody, because we all keep the building running.
Beautiful.
That's what I want to say.
Brandy.
Have fun. Please. Our jobs are stressful enough. They are so hard. Laugh. Have fun with the kids. Have fun with your coworkers. Have a dance party. Who cares? Like, take a break and have some fun. Please bring fun back in education, because if I hear one more kid, especially middle schoolers, say they hate going to school, I may cry. So please, please, please have fun with these kids and the adults in the building, because it's hard enough.
Lee.
I would just say, kind of echo both those sentiments. Make sure you take care of everybody. Take care of yourself too, and enjoy the time. Like, I mean, there's gonna be times where it's gonna be great, and there's gonna be times where it's gonna be not so great. But understand, the time flies. It ticks by the same pace regardless. So tomorrow it's gonna be 7:45, just the same as it is right now, or whatever. Breathe. You'll get through it, and reach out and help others, and ask for help when you need it or before you need it.
So many good nuggets right there, Josh. Hey, how can people connect directly with you? Lee, start off right now. Your social media handles, where are you at? How can people reach out to Lee Myers?
Twitter, it's at Lee Myers 23, and it's Myers, Myers, not Mey. Everybody likes to add a second. There's only 5 letters in Myers, much like Mike Myers, the Halloween guy. Yes, unfortunately. On Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I don't know what I am on Instagram though. I am on LinkedIn. Lee Myers, EDD on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing that out. Kashanta.
I am on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and I am on Instagram. And you can find me under my name, Kashanta Thurman, or KT Executive Services. So I just updated my email, KT Executive Services with an S.com. So please look me up and call me up, and we can have I get a 30-minute consultation for free just to have a conversation to see if I would be a good fit for your organization.
What do you think of that, Josh? Huh? How about that?
Yeah.
I might call it just to talk to you, Kashanta, after this. That's what I might do.
Let's have a conversation.
I love it. Brandy, how can I connect with you?
Twitter is at Brandy, BRANDIE _S. And then I'm also on Instagram. It's Brandy _SICA. And then LinkedIn is just my name. And again, I'm with Kashante there. A free 30-minute consult with me. Just shoot me a direct message and I'll hook it up and I'll see if I can help you out and help bring some PD to your school and just help your teachers and your students.
We're all rising rock stars, man. I actually love what you're doing. No matter where you are in your journey, you're still digging, you're still connecting, you're still thirsty for more. And that is what defines great people in our industry. So keep going, man. That's good stuff. Josh, what are your thoughts?
We had trips right, X-Flight, got that ball, scored a touchdown again in the red zone, Dean Packer. We scored a touchdown thanks to all the knowledge that was dropped. But hey, Dean, it's not over.
Never over,
Josh.
Josh.
Over, sir. This Sunday. What time, Dean Packer?
I know it's 7 p.m. Eastern
7 p.m.
Standard Time.
Join us for the flagship show with Mr. Charles Williams. We'll be coming in and talking to us about his book and his vision for education. So don't forget the flagship show. And next week, again, the Leadership Roundtable. Join us 9 p.m. for the Red Zone during our summertime hours. Let's go home, Dean Packard.
Let's do it. Hey, on behalf of Lee and Brandy and Kashanta and Josh Tovar, have a great week, everybody. We appreciate you being with us tonight. And don't stop digging for those kids. They deserve the best you.